They called themselves gods, not out of arrogance alone, but because no one had ever proven them wrong, for 10,000 cycles. The celestial concord ruled the spiral arm known as the Veil, shaping stars, erasing species, and rewriting history, with the casual certainty of beings who had never been challenged. Their cities floated inside artificial nebulae. Their fleets folded space like cloth, and their voices carried authority, backed by extinction-level force. To the younger civilizations, the Concord were creators, destroyers, and judges, worshipped in fear rather than faith. Entire cultures structured their myths around the idea that resistance was not merely futile, but heretical. Humanity did not worship them, because humanity had never heard of them. Earth was small, noisy, divided, and stubborn, tucked away in a quiet arm of the galaxy where no god had bothered to look. When humanity cracked faster than light travel, it was not done with elegance, but with brute calculation and reckless engineering. Their first ships did not glide. They tore holes in space and bled radiation into the void, and when one of those crude human vessels emerged inside the outer boundary of the Veil, the gods noticed. The Concord did not panic. They laughed. Sensors identified the intruder as a single ship, angular, asymmetrical, and radiating inefficient power signatures. It was smaller than a patrol craft, lacked psionic shielding, and carried no identifiable divine core. The Concord classified it as a curiosity, perhaps a relic drone from a forgotten species. Still, protocol demanded response, and so a herald was dispatched. The herald appeared before the human ship as a towering construct of light and geometry, its form designed to inspire awe in lesser minds. It spoke directly into the neural frequencies of the vessel, bypassing language and translating meaning as certainty. "You trespass in the realm of gods," the herald declared. "Submit, worship, or be unmade." The human ship did not submit. Instead, it adjusted its trajectory and continued forward. Inside the ship, Captain Maracade watched the readouts with narrowed eyes. The crew had trained for first contact, but no manual-covered beings who introduced themselves as gods. The message replayed across the bridge, translated into plain English by a hastily written algorithm. Mara exhaled slowly and keyed the comms. "This is a United Earth exploratory vessel," she said. "We're not here to worship anyone." The herald paused, not because it needed time, but because it had never encountered refusal. The Concord observed through 1,000 sensory lenses, mildly amused. This tiny species did not understand its place. The gods decided to teach them. The herald raised a limb of crystallized light and unleashed a demonstration. A nearby moon folded inward, compressed into a singularity, then dispersed into glittering dust. The message was clear: power without effort, annihilation without malice. Surely now the humans would kneel. On the bridge, alarms screamed. Crew members stared in silence. Mara felt fear, real and cold. But beneath it something else stirred. Anger. Human history was full of bullies who mistook Terra for obedience. She straightened and issued a command that would echo across the galaxy. "Weapons," she said calmly. "Target the herald." The crew hesitated for half a second, then obeyed. The ship's primary cannon charged, a device built from desperation and over. The herald laughed again, its mind brushing the humans with contempt. The shot fired. It should not have worked. It was not elegant. It was not divine. But it carried the accumulated ingenuity of a species that refused to stay small. The projectile tore through the herald's form, destabilizing the energy matrix. Holding it together, light fractured, geometry collapsed, and the herald screamed as it unraveled. For the first time in 10,000 cycles, a god died. Silence spread across the Veil. The Concord stared at the impossible data, replaying it from every angle. A single human ship had destroyed a divine emissary. This was not supposed to happen, and somewhere deep within the celestial Concord, something unfamiliar took root. Fear. The destruction of the herald sent shockwaves through Concord space. Not physical, but conceptual. Gods did not die, especially not to a civilization that did not even know how to bend reality properly. Yet the data was irrefutable. The herald's core had collapsed, its consciousness extinguished. Emergency councils convened within folded dimensions, voices overlapping in outrage and disbelief. The humans, meanwhile, were very aware of how close they had come to annihilation. Captain Maracade ordered a full systems analysis, expecting cascading failures or delayed retaliation. Instead, the ship held, battered but intact. The crew exchanged looks that mixed terror with awe. They had just killed a god, and none of them knew what that meant. Back on Earth, the signal arrived minutes later, compressed and prioritized above all else. Humanity had encountered a hostile, godlike civilization, and survived first contact. Panic rippled across governments. But it was quickly followed by something else: resolve. If gods existed, and they could be killed, then humanity would not kneel. The Concorde decided the anomaly must be erased. A single ship was an insult, but a fleet would be a lesson. Divine armadas mobilized, vessels the size of continents sliding out of folded space. They would burn the human ship, trace its origin, and cleanse the species before the idea of resistance spread. Mara's senses lit up as space itself began to glow. Contacts numbered in the thousands. Power readings off the scale. There was no running, no hiding. She opened a channel to Earth, her voice steady despite the odds. "They're coming," she said. "All of them." Earth listened, and Earth answered. Humanity did not have gods. What it had was industry, anger, and the ability to learn faster when cornered. Every prototype, every forbidden experiment, every half-finished weapon was dragged into the light. Shipyards burned day and night, and at the center of it all was a single directive: build something that can end a legend. The vessel that emerged months later did not look like a warship of myth. It was black, dense, and brutally functional. No curves, meant to inspire worship, only angles designed to survive. They named it Endurance, because hope felt too fragile. When Endurance entered the veil, the Concorde felt it like a wound. Reopening. This was not a scout, not an explorer. This was intent given mass. The gods prepared to erase it, confident in their numbers. They would soon learn that humanity had never needed permission to change the rules. The first battle did not look like war, as the Concorde understood it. Divine fleets arranged themselves in ceremonial formations, weapons charged with ritual precision. They announced judgment, finality, and inevitability. Endurance did not reply. Instead, it launched drones, hundreds of them, crude and fast. They did not seek glory. They sought data. Every impact, every loss fed information back into Endurance's core. Human weapons adapted in real time, recalibrating between volleys. When the Concorde fired, stars dimmed. Beams of exotic energy tore through space, unraveling physics as they passed. Endurance's shields buckled, then stabilized. Algorithms screaming as they found ways to survive that should not exist. Humanity had built the ship to lose, learn, and keep fighting. And slowly, impossibly, the gods began to bleed. A divine cruiser, shattered under concentrated kinetic fire, its hull unable to adapt fast enough. Another vanished when Endurance collapsed a localized gravity well. A trick stolen from black hole research back on Earth. The Concorde realized too late that humanity was not trying to overpower them. They were dissecting them. Fear spread through the divine ranks as ships fell. One by one, gods screamed as their immortality failed them. Legends burned at the heart of Endurance. Mara watched the casualty reports with grim focus. This was not victory. This was survival. And survival demanded sacrifice. She ordered the final protocol. Endurance's core began to overload, drawing in energy from multiple dimensions. The Concorde realized the danger and tried to flee, but space itself refused to let them go. The explosion did not look like light. It looked like absence. When it ended, the veil was silent. Its gods gone, their legend reduced to debris and disbelief. The galaxy reeled. Species that had lived in fear for millennia stared at the empty skies, unsure how to exist without gods. Humanity did not claim divinity. They sent messages instead. "We are not your rulers," the broadcasts said. "We are proof that no one owns the stars." Some feared humans, others welcomed them. But all understood one thing: the age of unquestioned gods was over. Earth mourned Endurance and its crew. Monuments rising across the planet. Mara Cade's name became legend, not as a god, but as a human who refused to kneel. Humanity expanded, cautiously, deliberately. They dismantled the remnants of divine technology. Learning without worship, power was no longer sacred. It was responsibility. The galaxy changed, not because gods fell, but because humans proved they could. Centuries later, children across a free galaxy learned the story. They called themselves gods. The lesson began, and humanity sent a ship to end the legend. Not to rule, not to dominate, but to remind the universe that no title makes you untouchable. The stars belonged to everyone now, and humanity kept flying, not as gods, but as something far more dangerous. A species that learned, endured, and never forgot what happened when someone claimed to be above consequence. The legend of the gods ended in fire and silence. The story of humanity was only just beginning.